As these makeover horses go through the finale and graduate, we ask you to provide them with suitable jobs and kind, competent owners, and help us as owners, trainers, and enthusiasts to kick on in your holy name. Amen.
And thank you to Maureen Gallatin from Horses on a Mission for the invocation, and for those who are at the Kentucky Horse Park tomorrow for the day of clinics. Maureen will be leading a non-denominational service at 8:30 a.m. So we're getting ready to begin the first discipline in eventing, and the first rider is warming up in the arena. And Stuart, we're starting off with a very high quality rider and horse, Nick Larkin and Love's Not Fair. And the format that we're going to see is 90 seconds of flat work, and then after the 90 seconds of flat work, there will be a course that each of the horses and riders will jump, comprising a mixture of cross-country as well as stadium jumping jumps. And then at the very end, because these are eventers and these are thoroughbreds, they will gallop around the arena. So in a very short amount of time, showing the versatility of this breed.
So this pair is on the clock right now. They're demonstrating some nice trot work, some canter work. They all did dressage tests, and that was included in their scores. And what we've asked them to do here is just to show you and the judges some basic work. They can do any pattern that they want.
30 seconds remaining in the flat work. Nick is a former winner here at the Kentucky Horse Park of the Kentucky 3-day event in 1998.
Just like, go ahead and talk, but I think if we just keep it kind of quiet, it's good.
And he was top 10 last year at the Thoroughbred Makeover in eventing aboard Cub fan Budman.
So now he's got a course of show jumps followed by some cross-country fences.
This horse, Love's Not Fair, had a long racing career from 2012 to 2016, 36 starts in all, earning over $120,000. Bred in Maryland, started racing in Maryland and finished up racing in Pennsylvania at Penn National. 5 wins, the most recent of which came in June 2016 at Penn National.
Let's let him go now. Yeah, sounds good.
I guess we could talk. For the live stream now.
Yeah. This horse is by Not for Love, who sires a lot of fantastic jumping horses that are eventing now. Definitely a combination to look at for the future in this sport.
Training and galloping thoroughbreds for racing and steeplechasing. And so now finishing up jump 11 and doing the gallop around.
All right.
And the crowd recognizing Nick Larkin and Love's Not Fair.
That was a very green, very beautiful horse you just saw by Not For Love, who's a very well-known sire of horses that jump well. And keep in mind, these judges, it's not show jumping where you get four points off for rails or anything like that. They're judging how well these folks have trained their horses, whether they can balance them, adjust their strides.
Coming into this morning, Love's Not Fair, and Nick Larkin sitting in 5th place in the competition, and the score from the finale will be combined with the scores that they had in their performances the last couple of days. And this pair excelled in cross country, the highest score in cross country from one of the eventing judges, Kathy Weishoff.
I want to just point out that that beautiful log you see at the end over near the cattle panels is actually blown up, and it has some water in it. It's built by Air S Equine Sports Simplified, who's behind the announcer's booth with a whole series of these jumps that are blown up, and they look quite natural, and they can be secured to the ground.
The next horse to come into the arena is First Around, bridle number 212, and Caitlin Harford from Callahan, Florida. Now, the first two that are in the arena for the finale are doing the novice jumps at a 3-foot height. The first three are going to be doing novice at a 3-foot height, and then the final two competitors will be at the beginner novice height of 2 feet 6, and the riders each had the choice of the height that they wanted to compete at. This pair here, First Around and Caitlin Hartford, sitting in 2nd place coming into today's finale. And they also excelled on the cross-country course with high marks, as well as high marks in stadium jumping. First Around, very young, just 4 years old. And now the 90 seconds of flat work begins.
He what? So Caitlin, somewhat tearily, appeared. Her horse was not sound this morning, and she does not want to push it. She's only had this horse for a short time. Caitlin's a junior rider, big up-and-coming professional.
And let's recognize that pair, Caitlin Hartford and First Around, and a young horse. I'm sure we'll be seeing much more of the junior rider and the very young horse as well. And now entering the arena, the leader coming into today's finale, bridle number 105, Cactus Willie, with Allison Thompson from Fairview, North Carolina. And the horses that are in the green numbers are for sale, and there are about 120 horses that are for sale as part of this year's Thoroughbred Makeover. So if you like what you see, this could be your next off-the-track Thoroughbred prospect. And this is a 5-year-old who was bred in Texas and raced exclusively at Louisiana Downs, raced in longer distance races on the turf, 8 starts, but never cracked the top 3, and now finding success in a new career in eventing with Allison Thompson, and also competed in this Thoroughbred Makeover in dressage as well. And so the 90 seconds of flat work will begin for Cactus Willie and Allison Thompson. And Stuart, what are some of the goals that the judges are looking for to show the foundational work for eventing for thoroughbreds in this 90 seconds?
Well, in our sport, they they do the dressage first, so the judges get to see that. And they did dressage tests that got them into this finale, but they want to see that the horse is balanced, straight, rhythmic, on the aids, connected between the leg and the bridle. You'll see them in a round frame like a dressage horse, and they really want to see some swing. They don't want to see a lot of tension in these horses, even though they're feeling it, because this is a pretty exciting environment. They were outside, and this is their first time in this arena.
30 seconds remaining in the flat work for Allison Thompson and Cactus Willie.
She's
That's
demonstrating a
nice
free walk
there.
here to show that her horse actually is relaxed. It's part of the dressage test as well.
Now, Stuart, this is a little modified in the sense that they're going from dressage straight into their jumping. There's the whistle, and so now the jumping about to begin for Cactus Willie and Allison Thompson. Allison, a rider who's competed at the 1-star and 2-star levels and has helped condition horses as high as the 4-star level. She says she's often given the naughty and green horses to help condition. So, Stuart, I wanted to ask you, for a horse to be going from dressage right into jumping, not the traditional way you would do eventing, how is that for the horse?
Well, it's quite horse friendly, and part of the reason that we did this was that they've not been in this arena, and it's having an interesting effect because the horses are getting to see the space and getting to work in here in their 90 seconds, and then they're a little surprised when they go to that first fence. They thought they were doing dressage.
So they were a little more mellowed out.
Both the horses have hit that rail like, are you sure we're jumping? And then they sharpen right up. Nothing smarter than a thoroughbred horse, and these horses pick up on things very quickly. And you'll notice that the best trainers in this competition are all very tactful. They all let their horses think. Big jump there.
Big jump.
Over the Air S Equine blow-up log.
You sure that's not a real log?
It looks real, doesn't it?
Oh, knocked it and kept the TCA vertical up. TCA, the presenting sponsor for the Thoroughbred Makeover.
This horse is very adjustable. She's really got some good work into him in just the short amount of time that she's had him.
Last September, this horse was racing at Louisiana Downs, and now I think we'll get to see a little bit of that racing side, finishing the 11th and final jump and about to gallop around. And galloping around are Allison Thompson from Fairview, North Carolina, and Cactus Willie.
That gallop is part of the test. The judges want to see that these horses can go gallop cross country and then come right back.
Yeah, sure. Email's fine, yeah. jjhorowitz@gmail. And so now there's going to be a height adjustment for these jumps as the first competitors jumped at the novice height of 3 feet. And the final two will be jumping at beginner's novice 2.6. It gives us a chance to introduce, recognize, and thank our judges judging the dressage for eventing. Jennifer Maynard from Vancouver, British Columbia, a sought-after dressage judge who has shown and judged at FEI levels and is particularly passionate about judging para-equestrian dressage. The Maynard family has been very involved in the Thoroughbred Makeover this year. Husband Rick Maynard will be judging show jumping our next event, and the son Tick Maynard, a former Thoroughbred Makeover winner in freestyle, is the freestyle judge this year. Kathy Wieshoff four-star eventer, and the winner of last year's eventing competition is the eventing judge for show jumping. And Sally Ike from Oldwick, New Jersey, is the cross-country judge, and she travels the world judging and officiating some of the biggest three-day events. Also has the role of U.S. Equestrian Director of Show Jumping, but says her passion is eventing, and she has a lot of experience with off-the-track thoroughbreds, as her off-the-track thoroughbred Evening Mail 50 years ago in 1967 won Horse of the Year titles, competed in Burley, and were named an alternate to the 1968 Olympics in Mexico City.
Should note that this division of eventing is sponsored by Tipperary, the folks who make those vests that keep us safe when we fall off. The top amateur, the top junior will get a Tipperary vest along with their $500 check, and Tipperary helmet to the third placed and second placed horse, and a Tipperary vest to the winner, as well as all the prize money and the other things they're going to be getting. So Tipperary's been a big supporter of the sport of eventing.
Zor, one thing I think is important to point out for our audience is that in terms of the judging, there's no preference whether you do higher or lower. This is more about the foundational work and showing the potential for these off-the-track thoroughbreds when it comes to eventing.
That's actually a really good point. We allow them to jump at the height that's appropriate for their horse. We don't go below 2 feet, but and in eventing we don't go below 2.6. But we do allow them to pick among 2 or 3 options in all the jumping disciplines. And we did award extra points for the higher levels because it is a training competition. So it shows that you've trained your horse to a higher level. But it's only 1 point among 100. So that was yesterday and the day before. There's no extra points for jumping higher in the finale. And they're getting a percentage score that's going to be added to their scores from the 3 disciplines that they did already over the last 2 days. So if you came in first place, you're in good shape, unless you don't do well.
Expert analysis by Stuart Pittman. Just do well, guys.
Just don't blow it.
Really?
We have a great ring crew out here, led by Kathy Augie, and most of them are from Hess Stables in New York. In honor of Hess, we made the volunteer shirts the same color as their stable colors, and they've been out here working all week, setting up courses. Yeah, let's have a hand for the ring crew.
And really the entire volunteer network that has put on the Thoroughbred Makeover, just the sheer enormity of this event and how much it's grown in the last few years in terms of the number of people participating, the number of people attending, and boy, the quality as well seems to get better and better each year.
Yeah, the quality in all the disciplines, everybody is saying, has just improved dramatically. And I don't think it's because we have better trainers or better horses. I think it's because the people who are participating in this are getting better. They come here and they see how good you can be, and they go home and they work harder and they become better trainers.
And it's fantastic to see, because then you see the effect of it going back to the racing world, because now the racehorse trainers, many of whom I work with in Colorado and the tracks that I travel to around the country as well, they're taking an interest in what their horses do when they retire, and then they start thinking ahead of time, hey, you know, we have this horse who is getting to the end of its career, what do we do with it next? And they're starting to think about long-term, beyond just the short amount of time that a horse will be racing. Because even when a horse races until 10 years old, which is relatively old in the racing world, that's still pretty young when it comes to a horse's life, almost similar to a professional athlete in football or any other sport.
All right, we're just about ready to get underway here. You know, a few inches here, a few inches there. Eventers don't really care, do they, Kathy? This is Kathy Weishoff, our course designer. Watch her run. She's run around Rolex many times. Kentucky's favorite 3-day event trainer. Carriage Station Farm, right here in Lexington.
Kathy won this event last year and had a very busy finale, as last year 3 horses were part of the finale and Kathy rode 2 of the 3. The other finalist was Elisa Wallace, and she'll be part of the freestyle finals later on. Right now getting back to action with the horse and rider who are sitting in 4th place coming into the finale, and that is Castle's Boy. And Castle's Boy is owned by Rhiannon Broadmerkle and trained by Amanda Ruan from Sarver, Pennsylvania. And Amanda says, while I've worked with all breeds of horses, the Thoroughbred has been the breed I desire the most. As an event rider, I admire their speed, agility, passion, and courage. This breed has always excelled in the sport, which makes them the most devoted partner. And now their 90 seconds of flat work begins.
The eventing division had, was it 80 horses, Jonathan?
Oh, it was more than that. It was, when entries were announced, I think it was close to 100, the biggest of the disciplines.
Yeah. People in the sport of eventing still favor thoroughbred horses. You see them at the highest levels winning on the world stage. And people breed for the sport, but they're having trouble making a better horse than a thoroughbred as they cross them with other breeds. And I got to say, these racing breeders are showing how to breed an event horse.
Why is that, Stuart, that the thoroughbred is so geared for eventing? And it makes sense that
30 seconds remaining for this pair on the flat work.
Well, the used to call it speed and endurance. The cross-country phase of eventing requires the horse, especially at the upper levels, to be brave, to be have stamina, and to be quick, because the times are fast and the courses are long. And so the heart and the athleticism of a thoroughbred is really hard to improve on. And that's the bottom line. And anybody who's trained young horses for the sport of eventing knows that a horse who's raced has proven soundness and a certain amount of bravery. You know, they breed these horses to go to the front. And you will not go out and win a race if you're not brave enough to go to the front. And that's bred into them.
And now to the jumping portion for Castle's Boy, a West Virginia bred who raced all 29 starts in a 3-race career at Charlestown Racetrack.
This horse had 6 wins and 15 top 3 finishes, so in the money in more than half of his races. A 5-year-old bay gelding sired by Windsor Castle, and won at a variety of distances and with a variety of styles. Sprint races, route races, could make the lead and also could drop back and stalk the pace a little bit.
It's interesting watching these horses who might have excelled out on the cross country where it's a little bit more relaxed, in the dressage where they're in the box, and then they come in here, and this is really, really a lot to ask for these horses in this environment to do this.
You're right, it's a lot more in terms of the back-to-back from the dressage into the jumping. It's also a smaller venue as well.
Yeah, their show jump courses are not too dissimilar from this, but they don't have the atmosphere outside that they have in here. And that little bit of tension really does.
And now going into the gallop, Castle's Boy and Amanda Ruan from Sarver, Pennsylvania. They competed in eventing and show jumping, and Amanda also excels as a upcoming USDF bronze medal dressage rider. Big applause, Stuart. What were your thoughts on this pair that came into the finals in 4th place?
Big horse for the future, huh? It's interesting how the tension in here for the eventers. They're brave. They go out on the cross country, but you put them in this arena. They have not been in here, and you can see it in the way they go.
And so we will have the final of the eventing finalists, and the horse and rider that were sitting in third place coming into the finale, and that is Chapter 2. Chapter 2 is owned by Marge Willoughby, trained and ridden by Allison Willoughby from right here in Lexington. Good name for a off-the-track thoroughbred. Chapter 1 was the racing, and now Chapter 2 eventing, with a rider who's competed at the Fairhill International 2-star event. And here we go with the 90 seconds of flat work.
Chapter 2 raced here in Lexington at Keeneland, a horse who seemed to like to run the longer distances with trainer Andrew Makeover. Debuted at 1 mile and 3/16 on the turf, won 3 times in 15 starts. All those wins came at Presque Isle in Pennsylvania, and always ran around 2 turns, suggesting that this horse has the endurance capability of what would be required for eventing.
This horse is in beautiful condition. It sometimes takes a while with these horses off the track to get the weight on.
30 seconds. This horse was racing as recently as December of 2016, finishing up his career with a 5th place finish at Turfway Park. Allison doing a great job of relaxing this horse through the flat work. And now to pick it up through the jumping phase of the finale. Less than 1 year ago, Chapter 2 raced across town at Lexington at Keeneland, and had a race at Keeneland on the turf as recently as October 19th of last year. Allison has developed 5 horses off the track since 2013 into event horses. She says, my strengths are in having a fine-tuned eye for quality horses and in riding, and my flat work is well known to be thorough and competitive.
I have a feeling we're about to see a very nice round here. This horse was very loose, focused in his flat work.
Very controlled.
He's not an extravagant jumper, but he's broke. He's trained beautifully.
Where do they find the courses if they're in the finale, specifically Field Hunter?
Over the Jockey Club vertical, obstacle number 4. And now taking the Oxer and the Heiress jump. Are there any difficult portions of the course that you're seeing?
This is all difficult. Actually, probably the easiest ones are the cross-country fences because they're solid and you can really ride forward to them and the horse will adjust itself and really focus. This one stride in and out has been tough, but they did it well there. A couple of people have jumped so far in that they get tight to the vertical. And these related distances are hard. Putting in 12-foot strides, staying in a rhythm in this environment.
Last 2 jumps are the cross-country jumps. And you may have heard Allison with a appreciation for Chapter 2. Good boy, she says, and now galloping around the arena with a big smile on her face. And this is a
horse that we're going to see again later on today as Chapter 2, and Allison Willoughby sitting in second place in dressage, so they will be returning later on this afternoon to potentially complete a double at the 2017 Thoroughbred Makeover.
So our judges are conferring over here, and they're scratching their heads, and I don't know if they're going to agree or not, but they're about to hand their scores over, and we're going to be able to tell you whether the stanzas have changed or not in just a moment.
And also we'll hear from the judges once they finish conferring and to get some of their expert analysis about what we've seen in the first of the disciplines in the finale of the 2017 Thoroughbred Makeover.
And while that's happening, our fantastic ring crew is turning an eventing course into a show jumper course designed by Rick Maynard of Canada. The Maynard family has been a huge supporter of the Makeover from the first year. Their son Tick won the freestyle the first year and is a judge this year. Jennifer is a judge of the eventers, dressage, and then Rick designed the show jumping course and was a judge as well, with Richard Lamb, who's walking in there with that big pole sticking up in the air.
The eventing competition sponsored by Tipperary, and Tipperary offering some very good prizes. In addition to the cash prize, $5,000 to the winner, $1,000 for second, paying down towards fifth place. Top 10 also receive ribbons. Tipperary providing an award vest for the top amateur and top junior, helmets for third and second place, and then first place.
From day's first light, you work tirelessly together in a labor of love. It can take a toll on your horse's joints. That's why veterinarians and top trainers trust Cosequin Joint Health Supplements for the health and comfort of their champions.
I use Cosequin because it's so dependable, well-researched, there's no comparison.
Cosequin, created through science, used by veterinarians, the #1 vet-recommended brand. To learn more, visit cosequinequine.com.
First of all, I just want to thank for doing such a fabulous job again this year. The eventing format changed from last year, where the horses were able to compete a full show jumping course and then do a modified, but it was 3 minutes long, so it was a decent cross-country course. And I felt like the quality, I didn't see a lot of horses last year because I was competing myself, but the quality of the horses that were presented in the show jumping round, which was where I was judging all day yesterday and the day before, were just amazing. And the training that's put into them, I feel your pain, some of you, because I have done this for a long, long time. And the other thing I wanted to comment on was the format for the eventing show jumping and then going to cross country, I felt was quite testing for these young horses because all of a sudden they were in the show jumping arena before they actually got to go gallop and jump. So I thought that those of you that managed to get around well and bravely were pretty spectacular. The atmosphere coming in here to do the finale, as I can attest to from experience, is something like no other. And the other thing that I just want to point out for all of us event riders, which is why most of us do eventing, is that it's not a style competition. And that makes a big difference for the event rider that's going out there to jump and having to, quote, show your horse off, because at the end of the day, we just have to get between the flags. And so there's a lot of mental pressure, I think, on the competitors to be able to get the right distances, show your horse off to its best ability, and that's something that we don't do every day for a living. So thank you very much, and congratulations to everyone.
Thank you to our judge, Kathy Wieshoff. Kathy, I do want to ask you, just because you were a winner of this last year, how does the competition this year look compared to what you saw last year, and how is this event growing?
Well, I think there were 75 horses in the eventing division last year, and there are over 100 this year. And so, and then the format, I think, has changed in order for us to show our horses off better, because we get to do more jumps. We get to do a whole show jumping course. We get to do, I designed the cross-country course, and we had 12 obstacles out there, and last year we got to do 4 show jumps and 6 cross-country fences. So we had 12 show jumps and 12 cross-country fences. So I think, and like I said, I didn't see a lot of the horses last year because I was competing, but the quality, I'm just amazed at the Thoroughbred. They're just an amazing animal.
That's great to see, and if any of the other judges, we'd appreciate the input as well. And from our cross-country judge, Sally Ike.
Full disclosure, I've been a Thoroughbred fan since I was a child, and I first became aware of the Thoroughbred Makeover a year ago when I saw the program from last year's event, and I called Stuart and asked if I could please come judge, and so I'm thrilled to be here. I am continually amazed by how wonderful this breed is, and as Kathy said, we had over 100 horses in the eventing division. They're all winners. It's an amazing, amazing breed, and I will always be their advocate.
Thank you to Sally Ike and Jennifer for the dressage. We appreciate all that you've input into this competition, and it looks like we're about ready to announce the winners for 2017 in eventing. Stuart, are we ready to go?
We are. Yes, we are.
So we're going to recognize the top 10 and also the top junior and amateur rider. And so first, let's begin with the top junior rider, and congratulations to the top junior, Caitlin Hartford, aboard bridle number 212 and first around. Claire Novak from Blood Horse and a board member for TCA is presenting the awards, the top junior receiving $500 and a vest from the eventing sponsor Tipperary. Top amateur is Tracy Hines and bridle number 218, Little Soup. Also receiving $500 and a vest from Tipperary. And now the top 10. In 10th place, bridle number 123, Erica Addison with Aristarchus. 9th place, bridle number 293, Peggy O'Neill rides Cotton Secret. 8th place, bridle number 16, Mia Brondell and Boss Lori. 7th place, bridle number 107, last year's America's Most Wanted Thoroughbred winner, Lauren Turner, this year riding JV3. Sixth place, bridle number 218, top amateur Tracy Hines with Little Soup. In fifth, the top junior, Caitlin Hartford with bridle number 212, First Around. Finishing in fourth place, number 246, Nick Larkin with Love's Not Fair. Third, bridle number 328, Amanda Ruan and Castle's Boy. Second place goes to bridle number 116, Allison Willoughby and Chapter 2. And let's keep the applause.
Hold on just a minute. Hold on just a minute here before you announce the winner, because we got to get these other horses out of the way, okay? We're going to do, everybody, when you're done, we're going to do some photo shoots out in that beautiful spot right out there. So competitors, follow the photographer and Claire, and you'll get some photos outside. We're having trouble keeping up with you, Jonathan.
And it's important for everybody to try and keep track of who all the winners are, because you're going to be the ones in the audience, either here in the TCA covered arena or following the live stream on Retired Racehorse Project's website and Facebook page, or on Blood Horse or USCF Network, to vote among the top 10 discipline winners to be America's Most Wanted Thoroughbred. And so now we've had the build-up to the eventing winner for 2017 at the Thoroughbred Makeover. Bridle number 105, Allison Thompson and Cactus Willie. And for winning, $5,000 plus the horseware cooler, Tipperary vest, and Tribute Equine Nutrition polo wraps. Congratulations to the top 10, kicking off the 2017 Thoroughbred Makeover in eventing.
Does everybody want to take a canter around, or just the winner? You guys want to go for a canter? Go ahead and go for a canter. Everybody go for a canter. And then you just, when you get run off with, you just leave, okay?
So this winner, Cactus Willie, is just 5 years old and raced at Louisiana Downs in an 8-race career last year. Never cracked the top 3 in racing, but is first in eventing at the 2017 Thoroughbred Makeover with Allison Thompson from Fairview, North Carolina. And this is great to see all 10 finalists cantering around the arena after a job well done over the last few days at the Kentucky Horse Park.